Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Day number 583, September the 29th, 2023, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:01 a.m. in Ukraine. Last few hours have been very difficult. I'll update you on that in just a moment. In fact, it may be more difficult in just a few minutes. Thank you guys for being here. King Raccoon and JDO, as you guys saw, rolling early, chatting and having a good time. Welcome to you guys. Linda Cassio there from Greenville. Jeffrey Burnett, one of our moderators from Forest Hill, California. Beautiful up there in Forest Hill. MX STY. Good evening to you, my buddy. Yep. King Raccoon gets the award tonight for being first. Skeg. Welcome, my friend. Rick Berry. You say Slava Ukraina. I say Geroem Slava. Good evening from Vegas, baby. That's Carl Elwell's signature there. Mark McLaren, of course, our friend from across the pond, and Warrior Jack Lee. Cheers from Curitiba once again, brothers. Cheers to you, my friend, and welcome. All right, guys, it's going to be a full night tonight, and lots of things to discuss. As you can see, the title of the program tonight, of course, with the updates, is the energy battles that are unfolding, and I'm going to explain that to you, especially with what has happened over the last 72 hours or so. It's kind of interesting. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for caring. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, donating, giving, all of that stuff. Every penny plus goes to Ukraine, and we appreciate you guys. Let's get to it. So every day, I will hammer this every day because nobody else does. Kherson struck again, 4 people dead. Kherson struck again. It's never ending. In fact, if you were to go back, if I had the time, I've been doing this for 583 days now. We have an incredible library, and for majority of the war, we were every day, and it was just impossible to keep up that pace. Now, when I'm in Ukraine, which will be in December, it will be every day. In fact, I'm going to try to do as many lives as possible. Got an entirely new setup for remote live. And at the 9 o'clock Eastern hour, yes, it's 4 a.m. in Ukraine, but it's a war zone. We can be on a different time frame. If you go back when Russia was talking about leaving Kherson, they had it occupied, then they left. Zhenya and I were discussing very clearly that all they're going to do is pull back across the river and shell it every day. And our prophecy has come true. It's completely demolished. It's terrible, terrible. Here's some video out of Kherson's television coverage, their coverage of just the damage from today. This actually was an S-300 hit. Little residential complex here, and 4 ladies lost their lives. So, I'm trying to discover where the target is. There was also a little bakery on that corner where the residents in that little area were getting their fresh bread, and that was destroyed. I guess the bread warriors are very dangerous. Don Gentilini, you are correct there, sir. It's sad. Now, I did see you guys talking about Serbia and Kosovo in the chat. I'll give you my 2 cents on that. Mark McLaren, love the statement out of Ukraine. Yes, the new defense minister Umerov saying, "You hit us, we're going to hit you," and I'm going to prove it to you in just a moment. They've already began. Kherson looks like areas in Syria. Yes, and I've got some new pictures tonight that came out of Zelensky's office of Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Klishkivka. Just wait, guys. Unbelievable. So Serbia and Kosovo, and I saw you guys comment, saw you chatting about it and talking about it. There's something everyone needs to understand about Serbia and Kosovo. So, at the most, it could be a distraction, and I personally don't think anything will happen. However, you need to understand that a majority of those in power in Serbian government and a large majority of Serbian people, if you are connected to people in Serbia and this doesn't apply to you, that's okay. I'm not talking about that. But a large majority of Serbians are Kremlin friendly. Kremlin friendly, especially those in governmental positions. Doesn't matter what you see on TV, what propaganda you see, they are Kremlin friendly. Kremlin friendly. Therefore, isn't it interesting that the news headlines begin to show the buildup of the Serbian troops up against the border of Kosovo? We see the saber rattling for war, and all the eyes of the world start to peek at that. And when you peek at that, you look away from Ukraine. So, very simple to see. I guarantee you, the Kremlin knows exactly what's going on in Serbia and Kosovo. So, that's the 2 cents on that. We'll see what happens. That's Kherson. Now, Ukraine came out today. This is our only problem area in the war right now. Of course, the entire front line is a problem area, but I mean, we're losing some significant, not by square kilometers, but by positions. And Ukraine is having to withdraw from some of their stronger positions. If I go, let me go here and just make sure you guys know where I'm talking about. It's Kupiansk. And we've been talking about Kupiansk for a couple of weeks, that it's the toughest push that Russia is doing now against Ukraine. So up in the northern border here, this is where Russia hits into Ukraine. Kharkiv's over here to the left. And if you come down, you see Kupiansk right here. And you see the push in. Now, when I show you the map like this, it's hard to understand, but this is north of Slovyansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkivka, Konstantinivka, Bakhmut. It's due north of that. Ukraine came out today and said we're struggling to hold on to our favorable positions in Kupiansk. Now, if we go back here, it's hard to look at the map and say, well, okay, that could be 100 miles. I can't, there's no reference. So I measured it for you guys. It is 5 kilometers from where Russia has basically covered the position in the gold all the way to the city line of Kupiansk. 5 kilometers, a couple of miles. You don't hear of Kupiansk that often, but they've taken a beating in this war as well. Yeah, Kupiansk is demolished. So you have to think about this. From that position, of course, Russia's shelling Kupiansk. It's dangerous to be there. Yes, a lot of Ukrainian soldiers are in Kupiansk. They're always in these cities. We went close to Kupiansk and we dropped down below it when we were dropping aid on some of our runs. It's, of course, there's military everywhere. But Russia, as they do, they will just work on demolishing that place. And that's what we see happening. So that's the update on Kupiansk. Now, something very, very interesting here that for me is interesting. I'm showing you a map right now of the oblast, the regions in Ukraine, and you see them all. Of course, Lugansk in the far right or the far east, basically completely controlled, maybe just a few square kilometers not controlled, but controlled by Russia. Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson. So, security begins again. I can tell you at the beginning of the war, and even when I was there the first time for a few months, the block posts were everywhere, every oblast. If Zhenya and I were to leave Khmelnytsky and take a trip to the east, we would be going through 5 block posts in Khmelnytsky, Vinnytsia, Cherkasy, Kyiv, Poltava, all the way across. Well, as the war went on and Ukraine needed those soldiers, they pulled them and pulled those block posts. Those soldiers went to the front or they were reassigned. They left the block post system in the capital city of Kyiv. And if you start going around, Chernihiv, of course, never lost their block posts because they're right on the border with Russia and Belarus. Sumy never lost their block post. They're still functioning. Poltava's went away. Kharkiv, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Mykolaiv, and Odessa. All active block posts because they're all at the hottest zones. Lviv, all the block posts went away. Well, starting in a couple of days, Lviv is back to full block post. Not just the city, but all the main roads coming in and out of the city for the entire region. And the reason Lviv said that is because they're having too many issues with collaborators. Remember, it was just a few weeks ago that the warehouse where we actually go and pick up goods was destroyed, the humanitarian warehouse. Of course, that happened through collaborators because it's a secret location. We couldn't even know the address until after we had been there. We had to go to a checkpoint, get approved, go to another person, and then they took us to it. That's the way it works. So we're talking about serious security. Evidently, they're having some struggles, as we've seen. So Lviv is back under full block post system on all the highways and byways. Now, what's interesting is it's all the way on the other side of Ukraine. Yes, missiles hit there. Yes, Shaheeds can get there, but missiles and Shaheeds have nothing to do with block post. They're coming through the air. The block post, all it tells us is they're having some issues with security. So that's what's happening in Lviv. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things here. The Avdiivka coke and chemical plant. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, 100%. I'm going to go to Google Earth for a second. Actually, I'll go somewhere else first. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been there by Avdiivka. I've seen this plant. I really didn't know what a coke plant was. I'm going, what are they blowing up a Coca-Cola bottling plant for? Why are they even worried about it? And then I started educating myself and I discovered that Coke is related to coal and they create the fuel briquettes and the fuel that is used in multiple iron ore melting down, heating fuels for homes when they break it down like briquettes. Learned all about it. Now I'm educated. Now I understand. But here's the thing about Avdiivka. Tom P. Anybody greets us from across the pond, you're getting a greeting. Welcome, my friend. Why? First of all, this plant supplies 23% of the coke for Ukraine. It is the largest coke processing plant in all of Ukraine by far. Heating and fuel. I know we're September the 29th, but we're already there. They're fighting over energy, over fuel, preparing for a long, dark, hard, cold winter. So that's the Avdiivka coal plant, coke plant. I want to show you guys in case you're here and you say, okay, well, where's Avdiivka? So make sure I know. Okay. So we talked about Kupiansk up here at the north. And then we come down and you have Seversk. And then you come into the loop road. You guys know all these things now from me. Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, Druzhkova, Konstantinivka. That's the loop road. You cut across to Bakhmut. You come directly down. Right outside of Donetsk is the Battle of Avdiivka. This is Avdiivka right here. This plant is located on this entire section of Avdiivka here. It was destroyed with the guided 500. It was damaged. It's not going to function now, but it was damaged with the 500 kilogram guided bombs that they are dropping now regularly, daily. So now if I go to Google Earth, now you know where Avdiivka is. Here's Avdiivka. I want you to see this plant. Then I'm going to show you the video. We're talking about a facility that is huge. I'm not sure about EPA regulations. It's a little coldly. That's okay. We're talking about a massive plant. It also does thermal for sending out thermal, hot water. It's a really incredible plant. If you come over here, I know this is called something, the tailings or the tail something. Okay, this may look like, oh, well, that just looks like it's on the ground. Folks, that's a mountain they've built. You can see here. Yeah, they give that ankle. You can see. This is a massive, massive plant. Additionally, you want to see inside of a Ukrainian plant? I think I can do this here if I find it. Let me back out a little bit because I think somebody took a picture inside and posted it. Pretty sure I did it earlier. Yes, right here. So we can look inside the plant. Killer technology here, guys. So this is a workroom inside the plant. Um, Newspapers, got their journals. It's like plant you would work at or I would work at. Tools. That says documents go here. So that's pretty cool. And let me zoom out. Let me exit that. And there's one more here that's really cool. Actually, it's outside. Let me see if I can pull that one in too. It's going to be on this side. Right here, I think. I hope that's not the same one. No, I'm outside. So you can see now inside this plant. Guys working here. So that's the Avdiivka Coke plant that no longer functions. Now I'll go here and I'll show you. Here is it being destroyed. So I mean, it's done. You know, once you destroy that inside, and I think if you come over here, there's a different angle right here, so you can see the plan I just showed you. Go here, and boom, and boom to the left. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Avdiivka Coke plant. So let me show you what happened. This is interesting. I've put 4 numbers here on the screen for you guys. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So first, Russia hit Avdiivka. What I just showed you, I showed you the map and the plant. Major problem. Ukraine responded yesterday and hit an electrical substation and took it out in Kursk. So if you look into Russia, Russia's in the blue there. The second attack was a response in Kursk. Russia responded this morning. They hit Mykolaiv, third. They took out an electrical substation. Done. Just a few hours ago, Ukraine hit an electrical substation in Bryansk. You see what's happening here? This is why the title of the program tonight was The War is an Energy War. They're going after this now as we go into the fall and winter. And remember, the fall and winter in this region of the world is basically all winter. Cold, wet, rainy at first, windy, snowy, nasty. So it's also what Umarov said a few days ago. This year will not be like last year. If you hit our infrastructure, we're going to hit yours. And it's exactly what we've seen. They hit Avdiivka, Ukraine hits Kursk. They hit Mykolaiv, Ukraine hits Bryansk. That's what's happening. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's exactly what they said they're going to do. So I'm glad about that. Now, I had a question come in. You guys, I told you if you put questions in that I feel I can answer or no, but I had a question come in. Someone was watching the stream, not live, but later, and they left me a message. Their name is Alazan6 on YouTube. Alazan6. So Alazan6 asked me, could you please give me an update on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and Chernobyl? I said, yes, I'll have it ready for you on Friday. So here it is. Analysis of the occupation of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant by Russian armed forces and Rosatom in the role of the IAEA. This is from multiple sources: IAEA, Greenpeace, other monitoring organizations, Institute for the Study of War. It's multiple operations, but this is all the same result, same answer. IAEA actually gave us the amount of certified employees, which is 4. So listen, Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has too few experts at the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. Only 4 certified people. And the Russian army has created many access restrictions for safety. That's the update on Zaporizhzhia. If you hear that Russia's leaving Zaporizhzhia or Energodar, it's not happening. Now, I want you to think about something here. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has 4 technical experts. They should have dozens and dozens and dozens. This complex is massive. I'm going to outline it for you, and I'm going to do it in square kilometers to help. So the complex itself is here. Well, I won't go to the water, but it goes all the way to the water with the cooling lake. It's 35 square kilometers, the plant. It's 35 square kilometers. I can give you a view without the red marked up. Here we go. So this will give you a better idea. 35 square kilometers, and the main reactors and all the problem areas are right here. So if I give you a little angle here, you can see it. So a plant this size, 4 experts. Now, I will tell you this. Jania was in Nikopol. Nikopol is just right across the river here. Right here. Nikopol. So you can see Energodar, the nuclear power plant from Nikopol across the river. And he says, Greg, it's just huge. Ukraine has 4 of these nuclear power plants, and they're massive. The southern nuclear power plant is in the Mykolaiv Oblast, heading north toward Kyiv. And it's just massive, a massive complex. So when I begin to think myself, and for you guys, everywhere you live, whether you're in the U.S. or another nation, you have power plants in your country. So just think about for a moment, power plants undermanned, not enough experts, living under torture and tension of an occupying Russian aggressor and its mind. All you need to know. Chernobyl. You had one of the answer on Chernobyl. Okay, so Chernobyl, nothing going on. It's quiet. It's a dead zone, the Red Forest. However, there's a company from Europe that is wanting to put a wind farm. It's very windy there all the time. A wind farm in Chernobyl when the war's over. So we'll see. But that's that. Now, I want to give you guys some chaos. There is a Telegram channel. That's inside Ukraine that is stupid. They have 1.3 million subscribers. Think about that for a moment. 1.3 million subscribers. And last night, they made a post. I just want you to understand how stupid this gets ground level. This one's on Ukraine. That guy right there posted, and then this organization, which is connected to news outlets, I'm not going to give the organization, but connected to news outlets. And this story started to go crazy. Are you ready what this story was? This gentleman here representing them was picking up Rudy Giuliani, and they were there to discuss tanks and to talk about Trump for the fall. I can't make this up. Hundreds of thousands likes and hearts and people. Oh, Giuliani's here. And this was the picture, guys. They're in Ukraine. I mean, some people know, but 99% of people over there don't even know what Rudy Giuliani looks like. This is Rudy Giuliani, according to them. Of course, it's not Rudy Giuliani. But this is the story that started going crazy. Inside story. Went nuts. Rudy Giuliani's here, meeting with us, talking about tanks, talking about the. That's madness, folks. But that's what happens in war. We tell you all sides, everything that happens. Now, we talked about Serbia and Kosovo. You guys were talking about in the chat pre-stream, and Serbia, very Kremlin leaning, of course, Hungary as well. So the EU is looking to vote eventually to bring Ukraine into the EU. Well, it's going to take, there can't be a veto. So Hungary and Orban comes out, and this is all within the last probably 16 hours, 20, definitely much less than 24. But this is what Orban said, and I'm quoting, "We do not know the size of Ukraine." That's Orban talking about the accession of our country or Ukraine to the EU. I guess he doesn't look at anything about the real 24 oblast, including Crimea. So he doesn't know the size. And he's the prime minister of Hungary, by the way. The prime minister. Oh, he's also a buddy with Trump and Giuliani. So Giuliani's in Ukraine, and Orban's spewing this mess. We don't know how big the territory of this country is because the war is still going on. We don't know how big its population is because they are fleeing. Accepting a country into the EU without knowing its parameters would be unprecedented. Folks, if you ever wondered, we've been saying probably the Orban stuff at least 6 months after he went to Dallas to speak at the CPAC and the trash he spewed there in Dallas. That man right there is 100% pro-Kremlin. That quote is all you need. So Ukraine going bonkers with that. So EU's not happening. Not happening. This is the official document released by Vladimir Putin and signed today between October the 1st, December the 1st. 130,000 is the official number that are going to be mobilized over the next couple of months. And that's the official document. Beginning, let me read it for you. Beginning October the 1st, 2023, be concluded by December the 1st, 130,000. Wagner, they're not gone yet. Putin instructed today he met with Andrei Troshev. And if you don't think this guy is uber famous, Troshev. He's uber famous. When you type him up, You immediately start getting his meeting today with Putin. This is he right here. Putin meets former Wagner commander Andrei Troshev. Here's his Wikipedia. Just go read about him. He's quite character. He instructed him to get the Wagner mercenaries back to the front lines as volunteers. Quote, we discussed your involvement in forming volunteer units that can carry out various combat tasks, primarily in the area of the special military operation, interpreted the war in Ukraine. Who is Andrei Troshev? Well, in the picture, he's the guy on the far right. Andrei Troshev is a retired colonel from the Soviet era into modern day Russia and former chief of staff of the Wagner PMC. Known by the call sign Sidoy, which in Russian means gray, he was awarded the title of Hero of Russia. It's the big medal for the capture of Palmyra in 2016. Now, check the underlying thing here. He did not support the mutiny led by Prigozhin in June. He was the top Wagner guy that was saying, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Now you see, here we are, September the 29th. Putin calls him to the office. Hey, we still got quite a few Wagner guys just running around twiddling their thumbs. Get them back to the front line. That's what that means. Pavel Gubarov. What a terrible person. You guys ever heard of Pavel Gubarov? That's why you come here. I'll teach you all this stuff. So, Pavel Gubarov was born in Donetsk. And he was born in eastern Ukraine. He was born during the time of the Soviet Union. He was born in 1983. And when Orange Revolution, about 2008, and then the rumbling started happening in Kyiv and Ukraine, we could see the political instability that was coming, being pushed by the Kremlin, that led him in 2014. He joined, you ready for this? The neo-Nazi group. He actually owned a Santa Claus company in Donetsk, and he hired actors to go and do Santa Claus throughout Donetsk. This was his business. Well, from that, he went to the neo-Nazi group and became very high-ranking very quickly when the separatists attacked Ukraine in 2014. He is pro-Russian, born in Ukraine. Now he's high up in leadership in the Donetsk People's Republic. He is very high in Russian-leaning political platforms and parties in occupied Ukraine. Additionally, he has also put out formal documentation requesting the Kremlin to do more in the war because we should have ended it already with measly Ukraine. That's Pavel Gubarov. And listen, I know you said, well, that's Wikipedia. Who cares? Just go read it. Go read about it. I mean, the dude's influential. And now, by the way, his wife, it doesn't, look here. This is his wife, Ekaterina Gubareva. You say, well, okay, well, that's nice. What about her? When Russia took over Kherson, she was given the position of propaganda and media and communication control, working as a Ukrainian for the Russians in Kherson in the Office of Propaganda, Media, and Communication. This is who this family is. Now, this guy, a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of media. Here, I'm going to voice over what he said. Now, here he's going to look a little more bald, but this is his thoughts on the war.
We do not have a lot of choices. We could either win or lose. There can be a tactical peace agreement, But to replace this situation, we face a conflict of annihilation. What I mean is either we're going to kill them or they're going to kill us. And if we have to, we will destroy 1 million, 2, 3, 5 million Ukrainians. We will destroy them, but we must win. That's just a fact. We must win or lose. And to lose is the decolonization and the destruction and the extinction of Russia and our indigenous population. Everybody wants to liberate us, the world, from Russia.
So there you have it. That's Pavel Gubarev. That statement was within the last 24 hours. So if you're wondering out there, okay, well, what are those people, and not all, but what are some of these people that are like there and they were in Ukraine and then they're pro-Russia? What are their thoughts, really? So think about this. This man was born in Ukraine, and he calls basically for the extermination of Ukrainians. We need to kill 1, 2, 3, 5 million. We have to win, because now he's right on this. He's right on this. We have to win, because if we lose, we will lose our nation. It may not be immediate, but it will make a major, major change for Russia, especially on the global stage. Hungary should be ejected from NATO, Rick Berry, unless and or until Orban and his apparatchiki are removed from office. Yeah. How about we just suspend them? Can we suspend Hungary from the European Union? And I'll tell you, while we're at it, let's go ahead and suspend Turkey too. Or is Turkey in? No, Turkey's in NATO. No, that's what I meant. We're going to suspend Hungary from the EU and suspend Turkey from NATO. That's what we're going to do. All they got to do is ask us, come on over here. We'll have the war done. All right, these are the new photos that came out from Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Klishivka. Now, before I show you the photos, no people are in them. This is just landscape and buildings. So don't worry about that. But I want to make sure you understand what we're talking about here. So I'm going to go back to the map. And we've already talked about this. This is Avdiivka, right outside Donetsk. And this is where the Coke plant was. Folks, Avdiivka's destroyed. We've got friends that are stationed in Avdiivka. This has been surrounded like this for a year, and they shell it every day. It's gone. Okay. So you're going to see Avdiivka. You're also going to see some new images out of Bakhmut. It's occupied. And then you're going to see Klishivka. So see this little narrow village. And, it's just like 3 rows of houses there. In fact, let me do this first, because I really want you to see this. This is one of the most important things I'm sharing tonight, because it's unbelievable unless you see it. Let me come on in here. All right, Bakhmut. And if I come into Bakhmut, here's Klishivka. Okay. So you guys see that? You see a couple of streets here, 3 streets here, 1 here. That's it. So as I've taught you before, these people all know each other. They'll have 1 church, they'll have 1 school, and it's rural Eastern Ukraine, and these guys are all farmers for the most part, and they farm these lands. That's how it works with the villages in Ukraine. So you see Klishivka. So this is the place that's been the hottest battle for Ukraine and Russia over the last 5-6 days. Now, what does it look like? Well, here's Bakhmut. Some new images coming out. This is drone capturing some images. In fact, let me do this, guys. Let me go full screen for you here. I think I can do this. And I can do that. There you go. That is Bakhmut. Just look at it. Every building destroyed. Look at the foreground right at the bottom, leveled. Look in the background, every apartment building destroyed. This is Bakhmut. Just look. Okay, I may mess up stuff here, but you guys need to see this. Let's see if I can zoom it in. Come on, technology. Look at that residential complex. Let me just tell you guys, the amount of people that lived at that complex would be mind-blowing. B, inside that long rectangle would have been the playgrounds, the parking, um, maybe a few shops, and this was these people's entire life. Now, if anybody thinks that's okay, war, no war, Nazi, liberating, terrorism, if that's okay, something's wrong. And how anybody that has authority would just allow that to happen. I don't get it. And what I mean by that is NATO, EU, and most importantly, the United States. Let me come at this. You guys realize one man's doing that? One man is holding the world hostage. Bakhmut. Avdiivka. It's there you go. I zoomed in for you. I mean, not just hit it, but level it. Level it. These are the pictures that the world never sees. Avdiivka complex, very similar to the Bakhmut complex. They're all built the same, guys. All built the same. Avdiivka. Church. I mean, just level the home. I mean, all right. I'm going to move to Klishivka now. Remember the long, narrow village. Here you go. That's it. You see the homes? Every home in Klishivka is gone. That's another angle. There's another angle. Gone. So, nothing to talk about. I'm here tonight to share the truth and tell you guys what's really happening. You're not going to see it anywhere. I know CNN will cover a little bit, or over in Europe, Great Britain, Sky News or whoever over there's covering it a little bit, maybe a little on Al Jazeera. They're the most. They're the ones that cover it the most, to be honest. They keep their daily updates going, and for the most part, fairly accurate. Here in the United States, nothing. CNN. I mean, I'm just telling you guys. So I just showed you those pictures. And so if I'm an American, I want to read something about this. I got Biden restrictions on gas furnaces. Funding bill's probably not going to happen. We're talking about a movie here, Blindside. Moviegoer got in a fight. Racism on Postal. Toby Matt Keith got cancer. Hope he does okay. High school teacher does not good things offline. Booty egg. Disney. Alcohol alert. And that's it. Go to CNN. These are House Republicans, RFK Jr., raining in New York, which should be covered. Nothing. Usually they have a little something here. Anything up here? No. Nothing. But make sure you have the right rain jacket and the right vacuum cleaner. What else can we do? Very bad. Nothing else you can say. I can tell you right now, we're in villages like that every time, and we will be back in those villages. I mean, Jane will be there before I get. He's going all the time, but when you go to these villages and you meet the people, it's a surprising amount of children and grandmothers and grandfathers, and people have lived in those village homes that are typically 100 and 150 years old for 4, 5, and 6 generations. Farm that land and serve their country by helping feed it. It's just gone. All right. What happened today in Crimea? What happened today in Crimea? I'm going to show you. So you guys know that tomorrow, so you guys over across the pond, it's already tomorrow, it's the 30th. So tomorrow is now a national holiday in Russia. And the holiday is Liberation Day. I'm serious. It's a federal national holiday where they are celebrating the liberation and the addition to the Constitution of Russia for the 4 regions of Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson. They're Russia, and they're liberating their territory. That's their war, okay? So Crimea, they're having a big festival down there, and today they were practicing for it, and it's actually covered on TASS, official news. Here it is. This is called Day of Reunification, and they're practicing today for their big event tomorrow. Soviet hymn. What she's saying, she's explaining about the flag. Why the white, why the blue, why the red. So there you have it. Those guys are getting ready in Crimea for their big celebration tomorrow. Did you see the kids? I'm going to play that one more time. This time, instead of trying maybe to get the whole picture. And that, the words they're making, let me look at that. All right, I'll pause it. That back over here. All right, right there. So you see the date on the top right, 30/09/23. And then the Russian flag. And then it says Day of Reunification. day of reunification. It's now a holiday. Now, this time, that's the whole picture. You understand it? Just look closely this time at the kids' faces.
Вниз. Белый, синий, красный. И ускоряется!
So there you have it. They look oppressed. So that's that. Now, Putin. I'm telling you, it's a national holiday. It's a federal holiday in Russia tomorrow, Reunification Day. I'm going to play it first because I just got this video in right before the stream. And I didn't have time to voice it over, but I'll translate it for you. Just the beginning of it real time. It's a 4-minute speech on the greatness of the 4 regions and their Russian history. And these guys coming back home as we're liberating you. Here he goes.
Дорогие друзья, уважаемые граждане России.
Dear friends, I just want to congratulate you on the reunification of Russia.
Поздравляю вас с Днем воссоединения Донецкой и Луганской народных республик.
I'm congratulating you guys down there in the Donetsk Oblast and the Lugansk Oblast.
Запорожской и Херсонской областей с Россией.
And I'm congratulating you in the Zaporizhzhia and the Kherson Oblast. You are parts of Russia.
Год назад, 30 сентября, произошло определяющее, поистине историческое и судьбоносное событие.
So 1 year ago, we accepted our territories back into our constitution, and we will be celebrating that as a holiday, celebrating the reunification. Folks, that's what's happening today in Crimea. Now, as we're closing out tonight, I've had a lot of people ask me a couple of things. Greg, you keep talking about what the drones sound like when they're over your head. Or you told us the stories like you're in Kherson, you hear the Shaheed go over, and you were on a call with your wife, and she could actually hear it through the phone. Okay. Yes. Got a good video in of a Shaheed right above the ground. Low. This is what it sounds like. You catch that? I'll give it to you one more time because it was short. That is exactly what it sounds like. And let me tell you something, when that's over your head, it's eerie. Now, that was very low. That's why it was so strong, you know, because these guys can fly right off the ground up. I think it's I think it's 17,000 feet, I think. But I could be wrong. I know it's 60 meters off the ground, safe flight. I can't remember the top of the altitude. But when they're up, you don't hear them as much, to be honest. They'll be way up high. But that one was really low. And it's a little scary. Now, for those of you that do not know, Ukraine loves animals. In fact, animals are helping Ukrainians on the front line, battling cats and dogs. They are therapy, they're warning signals, they're friends. And I just wanted to show this tonight. I got a couple things in. One from a cat that jumps into the trench because the cat knew the incoming was coming. I guess cat has 9 lives and has really good ears because he knew. He jumps into the foxhole. And then I'm going to show you a couple of young Ukrainian soldiers hanging out with their pet dog. And listen to me. every group of soldiers that we went to, and it's tons of them all along the front lines, every one of them has dogs and cats. A cat is that symbol for Ukraine. It's really, really cool. Oh, I wanted to say about the Shaheeds before I do that. I saw pigeons in the Storm Shadow missiles, but this is why the Shaheeds are being updated. I showed you that about a week ago or earlier this week, and they're going to change them to a different engine propulsion. Then they'll be basically silent. So here's the cat jumping into the foxhole. Here comes there you can hear the incoming. So it just shows you. The cats are there right with them. Here he comes. If you're looking at that right there and you see the mud and the dirt and the trench and the wooden steps in there, that's how they build them. They build them really good, and you go down steps, and been down them many, many times there. Now here's the boys hanging out with their dog. Now listen, these soldiers are young. Listen to them talking to this dog. We see enough bad on here with the pictures tonight. How about these guys smile? He says, whistle for him, he'll sing. They're really cool there. And listen, this is what we try to show. Look what's happening to Ukraine, the way it's been leveled, and then look at Ukrainian soldiers. I mean, last thing. One more thing on the soldiers tonight. This one's really good. I'll translate it for you. The cook is giving morning coffee to the soldiers and to his group, and you can see in the video, basically, he has just a big container of hot water. That's what he's giving them. Yes, they have coffee, but we always bring coffee to the front. But maybe this day they were out, or they're just having a little fun. But here you go.
А у тебя что тут?
Що ти хочеш?
What do you want this morning?
Давай, да, якраз американський.
Okay, I want coffee. Yeah, give me some.
На, тримай, друже.
А с молочком сделаешь?
Молочка
Oh,
трошки,
would you give me some milk
на,
too?
трошки молочка
Sure,
тобі.
here's some milk.
А сиропчик можно?
Є,
Maybe
а
some
який
vanilla
тобі?
syrup.
Вишневий?
Да,
Пойдет,
Vanilla
да,
too?
добре, на,
Okay,
тримай.
vanilla syrup.
А цукру скільки?
две.
Дві,
Maybe some
да?
sugars. All right.
Чуєш, а
I'll
може
give you
тебе
some
компотика
sugars.
ще?
Ебать.
Давай,
You want
компотика
this?
тебе.
How about a little extra? I'll cap it off for you. There you go. That's real Ukrainian personality there. The real deal. The only other question that came in. Oh, by the way, tonight. Listen, people have said, Russia's going to run out. Listen to me tonight as we're signing off. Russia is not going to run out of supplies. I can tell you tonight that Vinnytsia, Russia hit a couple of hours ago with a cruise missile and took out an electrical substation. It's a fact. It's done. Okay? Confirmed by the mayor. But prior to that cruise missile strike, tonight, 6 different batches or groupings of Shaheeds were released out of Crimea at 6 different intervals, and then they came in with the missile. They're either really loading up from Iran, or they are producing so many. Because, folks, I know you don't see the news. Maybe you're here or you hunt it down. Every night now, they're rolling drones. Every night. So they're getting them from somewhere. So right here, we have no air alarm, and that's good. I had one other question come in. People wanted to know. I keep looking at all these screens, and somebody messaged me, can you show me? So there you go, folks. This is what I'm looking at. Monitor on the left, you can see all the different stuff over there I have to do, and then I'm watching different 4 monitors here. The chat on the left, information on the right, all these control buttons, and so there you've got it. I answered a lot of community questions tonight. You guys be blessed, and we will see you in, well, Monday, if not before. This could be a crazy weekend the way things are unfolding. So maybe here Saturday or Sunday. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on. You guys be blessed, and we'll see you. If you need anything, give us a shout. Good night.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!